Next up, you're going to take a half cup measuring cup. You can also use one for liquids. And you're going to take some vinegar, preferably some type of lighter color vinegar, and pour out a half cup. So, what vinegar does is it chemically cooks whatever it touches. It's kind of the same with lime or lemon juice because it's very acidic. And so we've got that poured in. Next,
German acid cooking.
German acid cooking, yes. Next up, we have olive oil, and we're also going to do a half cup of that. And I recommend olive oil and not a different type of oil like canola oil. No, gross. Maybe grapeseed oil, maybe, but try to do olive oil. It tastes the best, and it's really light. So we've got that in there, and now you're going to mix it all together. So it'll look like right now like you don't have too much liquid in there, but it'll soak into there, and the vegetables will release a lot of different juices and stuff, and this will make a nice, wonderful salad. So, and I had this multiple times in Germany, and I loved it. It's amazing. So, I'm just going to stir this. Go ahead and make awkward noises while I stir things. Stirring is my favorite part of cooking. Alright, and now you're going to cover it and take it to the fridge. This will need to stay in the fridge for a couple hours, probably at least 4 before you serve it. So we're going to put it in. We'll just eat this later.
Ich hab mein Herz in Heilweit verloren, in einer lauen Sommernacht.
Next up, we are going to be making Spätzle.
Als wir Abschied nahmen.
And what we will need is flour, 2 eggs, and then you'll need some measuring cups, a bowl, and if you want to be super packy, a Spätzle maker. You will also need a liter of boiling water with salt in it inside of a saucepan or pot. Okay, first we're going to measure up a cup and a half of flour. So, measure this, and make sure they're level with your measuring cup, because when you're baking or doing anything with flour, it has to be exact measurements. So, here's 1 cup, and now we're going to do a half cup. My half cup is dirty right now, so we're going to do 2 quarter cups. Oh no, the phone is ringing.
That's awkward.
Ah. Next up, we're going to add 2 eggs. So, just go ahead and crack them and put them in. Make sure you don't get shells in there. And I'm going to put these in my junk bowl. Ah, it exploded!
Oh God.
Ah. Okay. And those are eggs. Alright, and next we're going to add a teaspoon of olive oil. And just put that in there. And then we're going to do just a little bit of salt, pepper, and nutmeg. This is less than any type of measuring device you really have, so just a little sprinkle of each. And a couple grinds of pepper. And just a little pinch of nutmeg. And here I can't pinch it, so it's just a little shake. So it will end up looking like this. So just kind of speckledy. And so the nutmeg is an interesting thing to put in it, because most people don't put it in there, but my stepdad, both his parents immigrated from Germany when they were about 20 or so, and in their recipe for Spätzle, they had nutmeg in it. So thought we'd put it in because it's pretty good. Okay, now you're going to stir everything up. And once things are kind of mixed up to where they look, you know, somewhat decent, you're going to slowly add a 1/4 cup of water. Don't add more, because then your dough gets really runny, and it won't look like that at first, but it will be. So we're going to slowly add some water. There's a little bit of it, and stir it. And so what you really want to do is with this dough, you want to get it to a nice consistency to where when you're stirring it, you can't stir it much more for it to actually do anything. Also, it'll turn a nice yellowy color, like
Lovely.
light ivory. So we're going to add some more water. And now we're going to finish stirring. And it'll be kind of clumpy and stuff, but just keep stirring it. So, here's an example of what it looks like. It looks kind of goofy and weirdish, but it'll get nice looking eventually. If you find that a 1/4 cup really isn't working for water, remember, don't add more, because as this sits, which it will inevitably sit for a little while, it releases a lot of moisture and it'll start getting like gushy and slimy and stuff, which you don't want. So, here is our dough. It's pretty much finished.
I'm filming.
Oh, we're filming right now?
Yeah.
Okay, we're going to add a
Loaf.
teaspoon. What? Go on?
Loaf.
Ah!
Go.
Okay, we're adding a teaspoon of olive oil to our water, which we are inevitably going to boil. So, and that just keeps everything from sticking to each other. You can do this with regular noodles as well. And then you're going to add salt. Add plenty. So, I'm going to dump this in. And it looks like this. Ta-da! And you can stir it too. Okay, now once your water is boiling, which it'll smoke a whole bunch because of the olive oil. Actually, it's looking kind of weird, but whatever. So what we're going to do now is make the spatzel, and here's a spatzel maker. If you don't have a maker, you can also cut them up into dumplings. And I'll show you an example of what that looks like later. So we're going to fill this up with a little bit of dough. And put that in there. Your fingers will get messy, like extremely messy. So make sure you're not wearing clothes that are like really nice when you do this cooking, and make sure you don't really have anywhere to go the rest of the day. Now we're going to squeeze this and it'll make noodles. That didn't make too many noodles. I need a knife.
You haven't used this before?
No. Get up, silly. Oh my goodness, it's all cooking into one thing. You might need to stir it a bit. Also, if you're using anything like this, it might come off in one whole thing, like it just did. So inside of the microwave, which you probably noticed just went off, is a bowl full of now hot water. Because once you cook up your noodles and once you drain them, you need to place them into hot water where they'll stay and kind of hang out. Hot. Okay. Now, to cook the noodles, basically, you just need to like leave them in the water until they start floating to the surface. So, see how these are now floated to the surface? They're just about done. So, we're going to take them and we're going to put them into our hot water. So, try not to undercook them since they do have eggs in them. So yeah, that's basically how you make it, and keep repeating until you've done that with all of your dough.